Auto Club Speedway, once the premier motorsports facility in Southern California, built on the site of a former Kaiser steel mill near Fontana in 1996-97 at a cost of $100 million. The track had 84,000 permanent seats and was home to a NASCAR Cup and O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race each spring. Constructed by the Penske Corporation as a clone of Michigan Speedway, the track was originally known as California Speedway. It was later purchased by ISC, which subsequently sold its naming rights to the Automobile Club of Southern California in 2008. In addition to a high-banked oval, Auto Club Speedway featured several road course configurations, which have been used for sports car and motorcycle races, as well as an infield track for testing purposes. Given its proximity to Hollywood, the track has also appeared in scores of movies, television shows, and commercials. Not much remains of Auto Club Speedway, but it lives on in the sim world. And tonight, it's the IROC Challenge Series Fontana 250, presented by Fast Laps Open Hearts. And it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the virtual Auto Club Speedway. IROC Challenge Series racing about to get underway. Warm-up session just about a minute from completion. We'll get right into our starting grid immediately thereafter. Taking a look at the race details here tonight. 125 laps the distance, 85% fuel on board, 4 tire sets available over the wall, and 0 fast repairs. Count them, 0 zip, zilch, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Weather-wise, 75 degrees, 16% humidity, partly cloudy skies, almost no breeze. A perfect day for racing here in Fontana. Track temp also nice and cool, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, it's the Fontana 250 presented by Fast Laps Open Hearts. I think those guys are jumping on board for yet another race here in the IROC Challenge Series. Fast time in the session was a 40:43 by Pete Ruzick. And that'll conclude the warm-up session. We're going to get right into our race, so let's take a look at it. The starting grid for tonight's race on the pole position with a lap time of 40.463 seconds. It's the number 61 of James Connolly. Outside pole in the 199, missed it by 19 one-thousandths of a second. It's Parker Retzlaff. Row number 2, it's Chris Wally and John Cofield. Row 3 belongs to Kyle Hardy and Adam Pettit. Row 4, it's Garrett Johnston and Kyle Turzak back in action here in the IROC Series. TJ Majors and Doug Wysocki will finish out row number 5. Brian McCann starts 11th. Zach Millett will start in the 12th position. 13th starter, it's Matt Mormond. Dylan Pettis will start 14th. Jason Nilges, 15th. Neil Quick, 16th. Mike Koch will be 17th. Chuck Sweeting, 18th. 19th starter, it's the 41 of Chris Goins. 20th belongs to Christian Strader. Adam Benefiel from Team Conti will start 21st. Brandon Wilkinson, 22nd. 23rd starter, it's William Tyndall. Austin Beers from the Tour Modified Series will start 24th. Josh Mears will start 25th. Steve Durbin, 26th. Timmy Schofield, 27th starter. 28th is Peter Ruzick. Dale Earnhardt Jr. rolls off in the 29th spot. Gavin Hinson, 30th. 31st is Devin Aker. Andrew Williams, 32nd starter. 33rd is Chris Quick. 34th, Kyle Pendergraph. Marty Lindley will roll off 35th. Cameron Brownlow, 36th. 37th starter, it's Casey Bentz. Brent Butler, 38th. 39th is Shane Haas. Kyle White is 40th. Now looking at this, I think the other drivers, 41st and down, did not make the field. So they are a no start tonight. Didn't make it in on time this evening. Better luck next week. Field rolling down the back straightaway, half a lap away from getting this one underway. Again, I want to thank the sponsors: Fast Laps Open Hearts, Coles County Speedway, R&R Racewear, Meff's Shirt Shop, Johnston Timbers, LLC, 3 Wide with DJG, R&R Racewear, Charity Motorsports, Care for Kids. James Connolly will lead them down to green. Pace car heads to pit lane. There it is. Green flag waves. We're racing in Fontana. One driver already stepping on a line, thinks twice, goes back in behind. Connolly and Retzlaff side by side, down into turns 1 and 2. Retzlaff in the 199. Retzlaff now to the race lead. Cofield now second. James Connolly slips to third. Pettit and Wally the top 5 as they come back to start finish to complete lap number 1. Retzlaff's going to lead it. Lots of room at this place. There's a really wide racetrack to work with, and honestly, even in the corners, there's plenty of room top to bottom, plenty of grip to race around. You're going to see this field awful short, but awful wide. Retzlaff continues to lead over John Cofield. James Connolly, TJ Majors now up into the 4th spot in the number 6 machine. Behind him, it's Kyle Hardy, Garrett Johnston. Top of the racetrack goes the number 60. That's Matt Mormon way up top. Mormon trying to build a run out of the corner, but he's got Brian McCann looking to the inside. Almost contact as Mormon gets the wall. Just a touch here coming down to start finish. Mormon going to the top once again. Wally now in behind the 3 of Brian McCann. Wally has slipped back to the 9th position, was top 5 at this outset of this race. Mormon swapping lanes, looks to the inside of Dylan Pettis. This is for the 6th position if you can get it. Garrett Johnston will be another position. They might go around both sides here. Mormon checks up, leaves room. It's early yet, no need to be too aggressive. And back out front, Parker Retzlaff continues to lead over John Cofield. Let's go on board with Parker. See what's looking like out the back window or the back bumper of the number 199. Parker really putting some distance now, almost 2/10 back to Cofield. Cofield's going to run him down, though. Parker backing up his entry, allows the 58 to draw close, at least on corner entry, but you see Parker's going to drive away on exit. Parker continues to lead over Cofield and Connolly, and they're closing in quick. Speaking of closing in, TJ Majors into the 4th position, the black and orange machine there, the number 6. He's up 5 spots in 4th with the 19 to Dylan Pettis on the back bumper. Rather overcast skies here in Fontana. Expected a little more sunshine as we get a battle for the lead. Cofield takes a look to the inside, stuffs the nose to the bottom of the racetrack. Retzlaff opens the door, goes topside here. He'll have a little bit more of a run on exit coming back down to the line. It's just a few feet, if that, as they come to the stripe. Retzlaff's going to lead that lap, but will he lead the next one? Oh, trouble. Garrett Johnston sideways throwing smoke, and he saves it. There was another car who was almost just as sideways, but they both held onto it. Incredible save. Meanwhile, back out front, Parker is taking a little bit more command of the race lead, but Cofield back at the whip again, trying to take it back. So Cofield completes the pass, but Parker swaps lanes. He's going to take a peek on the bottom side of the racetrack now. Not willing to give. Parker right down to the white line there in the middle of 3 and 4. Swaps up the racetrack. Little slide job out of the Parker Retzlaff machine. Up the track, just inches off the wall. Man, he used every inch of that racetrack from the bottom to the top, now back to the middle. What a battle for the race lead we have as Cofield swaps lanes again, and he'll try to take the race lead back. Meanwhile, Mormond and the 61 of Connolly side by side behind them. If these guys keep battling the way that they are, they're going to have to worry about 2 more drivers hungry for that top spot. And Cofield has taken a breather here, a couple car lengths off the back bumper of the 199 as they come back down to the stripe. We'll put lap 11 up on the scoreboard. I wonder if Cofield's just trying to see what Parker's got underneath him. Again, fixed setup racing here in the IROC Challenge Series. It's all driver. They're also in the same car, all running the Chevrolet Camaro. Now Cofield's got company up top. It's the 61 of Connolly. Connolly takes the spot. Gotta wonder if Cofield just got the tires too hot fighting with Parker there for a little bit. Doesn't quite have the pace that he did just a few laps ago as Connolly takes over the second spot. Connolly, though, right there to the back bumper of Parker Retzlaff. Connolly's got a little run here down the main straightaway. Does he make the move? Connolly's got a fast car, and it's coming in a little bit later on in this run. 13 laps in, 13 laps complete. Swaps lanes, a little block thrown by Retzlaff. Another block up the racetrack, crossover again. Connolly wants the lead. Connolly with position down to turns 1 and 2, and Cofield is right there as well. Three-way battle for the top spot. The two at the front, side by side. It's Connolly and Retzlaff. Parker's going to have the run down the back straightaway. Might get clear into 3. It's going to be tight. He's there. Connolly tucks back in behind. So these top three continue to battle. A lot of the top 10, 12 cars all single file now. Zach Millett back in the 12th position. Millett in the number 31, the black and red machine. Right there with a three-wide battle with the 64 and the 49. That's Austin Beers in the 64. The 49 is Adam Pettit. Beers swaps lanes, gets in behind Chris Wally. This for about the 14th position. That's where Beers runs with Adam Pettit in the 49 down low. Up front, things still relatively unchanged. It's Retzlaff, Connolly, Cofield, Majors, Mormon. That's the top five. Kyle Turzak up a couple of spots. He's made it up to P6 with Brian McCann in a battle. Turzak in the 56, McCann in the blue and white number 3. Meanwhile, change for the race lead. Not completed just yet. Connolly underneath. Parker Retzlaff and gets clear. Slide job up the racetrack. Crossover coming from the 199. Now Cofield will tuck back in, give a little drafting assist to Parker as they roll through turns 3 and 4. Man, you can't hang on to the lead for very long, it seems, at least when you're trying to take it from Parker Retzlaff. You can get by him, you can get clear, but then he quickly takes it back, but that's not going to help your cause with Connolly hitting the wall off of 4, slowed his momentum. That's going to open the door now for TJ Majors to take over the 3rd spot. Majors on the high side in the number 6. And Connolly just hanging the right rear out, even with TJ to his outside. Oh, close quarters. Might have been some contact with Connolly and Majors. Both drivers separate abruptly. Far. Retzlaff continues to lead, but the battle for that spot has been contested almost since the drop of the green flag. Parker started in the 2nd spot, took the lead away right away. Cofield has really not given up ever since. Meanwhile, Connolly has fallen back to the 6th position. Kind of wondering the same about the driver of the 61. Did he burn his stuff off a little bit too soon? Doesn't quite have the pace that he did. In the 11th position. Only up 1 position. Started in 12th here tonight. Behind him, Chuck Sweeting, Austin Beers, Jason Nylandis, Adam Benefield. That's the top 15. Further down, we got Chris Wally, 16th. Adam Pettit, Doug Wysocki. Dale Earnhardt Jr. running in the 19th position, though he has made some progress forward. He's up to the 19th spot. He started 29th. Junior making his way forward. We got a repeat 1975 in the chat. A lot of great racing all the way through. Tell you, it's been a welcome change in this IROC Challenge Series. Don't always get full fields in all these iRacing leagues. It's kind of a rarity. It's hard to keep a big group together for the course of the season, but so far, so good. Full fields here in the IROC Challenge Series. Usually that means a recipe for chaos, but we've seen this so far, so good. Knock on wood. 22 laps in, caution-free, but plenty of action. No one's out there, well, something footing it around, if you know what I mean. One car in the wall, though. I think that might have been Terzak. I think it was, a 56, a Kyle Terzak. Pancakes the right side off a 4. Adam Benefiel in the number 33 machine. He's actually in the 0. With an 85% fuel load. Repeat, if you're still there, let us know what kind of laps did that translate to as far as our fuel window is concerned. I think we might be under caution. Indeed we are. Neil Quick in trouble. I think he's gone straight to pit lane. And again, given that we are on a replay, a tape-delayed broadcast, I don't know the outcome of this race, so we're kind of treating it as if it's live. But unfortunately, I cannot go back to do any kind of replays, because if I hit the live button, it will take us to the very end of the replay file. All that goes away next week, though. We're live broadcast here at Track Limits Network. Chicagoland Speedway, I believe, is the next stop. In fact, what a better time to take a look at the upcoming schedule. Of course, tonight, the Fontana 250, and there you go. Chicagoland Speedway next week, the 31st, the Windy City 225. 150 laps. Good to be back at Chicagoland Speedway. That's going to be a good one. Further down, we got Iowa on April 7th, Darlington on the 14th, 21st, Charity Motorsports 250 from MIS, 28th, 3 wide with DJG at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Then May 12th, we get into Talladega, the 19th, Bristol, Vegas on the 26th, then June, Phoenix, Pocono, and the Fast Laps 175 to close out the season at Homestead Miami Speedway. So Repeat says about 39 laps. We were a little shy here. Again, under caution right now, finishing up lap 24. So likely to see these drivers come down and take fuel and possibly tires. 4 sets of tires available here tonight, so don't have to force the issue too much as far as, well, do I take tires this time? Do I not? Maybe do I try rights to see how it feels? Or is it going to be a 4-tire stop every time tonight? We just don't know. Obviously, the guy behind the wheel always wants 4, but sometimes it's nice to pick up some track position if the fall off isn't terrible. So Parker Retzlaff will bring the field down into pit lane, and unfortunately, here we go again. We're going to lose them. Oh, they're back. Okay. It's one of the quirkinesses that we've had happen with the replay files. Sometimes we lose everybody in pit lane, but this time it looks like we got them back. Wally has to back it up too deep into pit box. And he supplied the replay, so we get to see the pit crew this time. Drops the jack, down he goes. Slow stop for Wally, 17:05 with that little hiccup. Yeah, Repeat, I don't typically have it happen with smaller fields. I don't know what it is, but just on the replay files, for whatever reason, We had it happen a bit the first couple of IROC replays that we did. Then I did another one with a different league where it was fine. So I don't know. I don't know if it's even SDK. I think it's actually the iRacing side of things, but I'll have to play with that a little bit. Or, that is. So wrapping up caution number 1, it does appear everybody took tires and fuel with the exception of possibly Chris Quick. It seems that the 4 stayed out. Interesting. We're on board with Parker Retzlaff here. He's running the car at about 7,900 RPMs right now under caution. Just kind of wondering if he knows something that we don't. I mean, that thing's almost redlined here off of 2. Again, got to tweak these drivers' eye cameras just a touch. A couple of artifacts that we don't like. That's new. Put that on the list. But I'm wondering here what Parker's trying to do. Is he trying to get heat into the oil, get that fire off speed when we go back green? That's going to be my guess. Hot oil is thinner oil. Thinner oil creates less resistance, equals more horsepower. So Chris Quick will restart as the race leader. He did not pit this time, so keep an eye out for the 4. Hopefully we don't spin some tires here. And Quick loses connection briefly and disappears. So where did he go? Yeah, there he is. He's back. This gets a little tricky. Spins the tires a little bit, but he gets off and running. So TJ Majors takes over the race lead. Retzlaff disappeared. I'm not sure where he ended up. He may be having some connection problems too. In fact, there he is. He's come back in and now he's gone again. So Retzlaff shown there as the race leader. He is indeed the leader. Cofield in second. Now Majors shown as the race leader. So repeats 1975 in the chat again. Says with one of the last updated motor updates, motor temperature matters. You also see more scrubbing of the tires. As we have some more connection issues again. Now to explain that to some of you guys that may wonder what the heck is going on. Well, obviously all these drivers are at their home sim rigs. They're all on their own internet connections. If they lose connection briefly during the race session, you'll tend to see them disappear and completely go off the, out of the screen. Won't even show up on the timing and scoring because it means iRacing's effectively lost track of them. Now, if that happened in the real life live session and then we save the replay, well, it's going to happen again in the replay. There's just no way to artificially add them back in. And we got trouble off turn number 2. Mormon goes around. And I can't find him either. Back out front, TJ Majors, Parker Retzlaff, 1 and 2. Gofield, Brian McCann, the 61 of James Connolly, the top 5. Zach Millett, though, has come into the picture. He's knocking on that door of the top 5. 31, quietly working his way towards the front. So you saw that issue with Mormon and others off of turn number 2, but they got clear of the racing surface in a hurry, so it did not draw the yellow flag. Matt Mormon in the chat says, not the 60s fault. I wasn't laying blame on anybody, Matt. Just, you're the first car number I saw off the track, probably because it loaded a different paint scheme for the replay, but definitely a bummer either way. Might have a battle for the lead here soon enough. Retzlaff to the back bumper of TJ Majors coming down to the line. Lap 33 will go up on the timing tower. Majors still with the lead, but just by a couple inches off the 199. Cofield still hot on the trail of Retzlaff as well. Parker goes up the racetrack, trying to build a run off of turn number 2. TJ gets some dirty air onto the nose of the 99. Not enough of a run, but Parker's taking a peek to the inside. Now he's going to make the move. Down into turn number 3, Parker Retzlaff going back to the top spot. TJ doesn't fight it too hard. Again, relatively early here, just about a quarter distance. Checking on some other big movers here. Austin Beers up into the 8th position. He's gained 16 spots. Looks like he did take 4 tires on that first pit stop. Then again, most of the drivers out there did. Dale Earnhardt Jr., it appears, maybe fuel only, trying to save a set for later. Gavin Hinson looks like the same story. So a couple of drivers trying some different strategies here at Auto Club Speedway. But speaking of Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's up 17 spots, so he's knocking on the door of the top 10 in 12th, just ahead of Christian Strader. It's right on board with Dale Jr. Tom Janikowski in the chat, as always, waving a hey with the checkered flag. Tommy, one of our biggest supporters, he's always checking into our broadcast. Tommy, certainly appreciate that. Tommy runs the 93 in the 0X Strategy Series. It just wrapped up their season last night. Going to continue on to the next season here in a couple of weeks on Track Limits Network. We'll be switching them over to Wednesday nights, tape-delayed events. Zach Millett in a battle now with the 58 of Cofield. Might have been a little bit of contact there. Millett now up into the top 5, now trying to take the 3rd spot from Brian McCann. Quick to look back behind him, though, as Cofield had a run. Millett slams the door. Cofield now down to the bottom of the racetrack. Millett says, never mind, I'll go to the top. But now he opens the door for Austin Beers. Beers continues to work his way forward. Austin, of course, the 2025 NASCAR Whelen Tour Modified Champion. Beers will settle in behind Cofield, but keeps it up top of the racetrack, pulls the draft off Garrett Johnson, thought about shoving it 3 wide. He thought better of it. Beers now back to 8th. Millett now in 5th. Lost a spot battling with Brian McCann. Gave it up to James Connolly in the 61. Cofield on the attack again. Looks like him and Austin Beers are going to split Zach Millett on either side. Real close quarters. Millett checks up. Didn't want to have contact there. A veteran move by the driver, that number 31. Lived to see the next corner, and Zach Millett did just that. Gave up a couple of spots to do it, but now he's got Brandon Wilkinson all over the back bumper, pushing Millett down the front stretch. I think that might have been Kyle Turzak way down low side of the racetrack. Millett now back on the charge. Looking at Garrett Johnston, pulling the draft off of the 58 of Cofield. Parker Retzlaff continues to lead over TJ Majors. It's about 3/10 back to the 6th. Parker has been lights out fast here tonight. But that said, probably the biggest lead we've seen so far out of anybody, and it's just over 3.5 tenths. Quite the battle here in the backside of the top 10 still between Johnston, Wilkinson, Turzak, and Millett. Millett was up to 4th. Now he's fallen down to the 10th position. Millett might find himself in a 3 wide here again if he's not careful. Keeps a little bit of air on the nose in behind Wilkinson. Cofield makes the move to the inside, Austin Beers. Beers will power back around the outside, but they're still nose to nose on the exit of turn 4. Contact. Cofield slips down the track just a bit. Beers holds his lane. Retzlaff continues to lead, but we still are seeing some connection issues out of the 199. Does get a little tricky if you're the trailing driver in TJ Majors. That car disappearing from view. It also might be a little bit of the reason why we see the 6 keeping the distance that he is. Give yourself a little breathing room off the driver that's not keeping a solid connection. Gives you a little bit of an opportunity to avoid chaos. If Parker jumps back in and happens to land on the hood, and there it goes again. It's right on board with TJ. Yeah, see, he's gone again. And folks, that's exactly what TJ is seeing, especially from this camera angle. The driver's eye camera built into the helmet. Parker just keeps disappearing on him. And you don't want to be side by side or bumper to bumper with that guy. Because like I said, if He disappears as the caution comes out, disappears and then comes back in, and now he's in your cockpit. Well, then you're both wrecking. TJ was trying to keep some distance there as we're under the caution. Second time here at Fontana. Not sure who it was we had a problem with, but nevertheless, caution on the Speedway. Repeat, if you remember, let us know. Again, those of you just joining, I can't go back to show you the replay because the only way I can get us back live is if I fast forward it, and I think that's almost worse than missing the replay. So we lose connections again. So 47 laps go up on the scoreboard, and we're still losing drivers here. Not sure of the scenario or why this is happening. While we have an opportunity, though, we are going to step aside here and take an actual break. I'm going to jump in here and see if there's anything on my end that I can do. I thought I had all this stuff corrected, but maybe not. Maybe it's me. Who knows? Stay with us. We'll be back before we get back underway. Stay with us. Back at Auto Club Speedway, 48 laps complete, pit stops complete. The Fontana 250 presented by Fast Laps Open Hearts. Not quite halfway, still a little bit ways to go before we get there. Parker Retzlaff, though, dominating here this evening. Here's, we do have a couple of wave-around cars ahead of the 199 to Parker Retzlaff. We'll see if we get the one to go here. They should take that wave around. And you see where it says 16th caution up there? It's not true. It's only the second caution. Real quirky things going on here as of late. But there you have it. Pace car lights are out. We're on the one to go. It should be green flag racing the next time by. Front row as we get ready for the restart will be Parker Retzlaff, James Connolly. Row 2, Brian McCann, TJ Majors. Row 3, Garrett Johnston, Austin Beers. Row 4, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jonathan Cofield. Row 5, it's Zach Millett and Adam Benefield. Some heavy hitters there in the top 10. coming to green. Pace car heads to pit lane. Field spills out into the back straightaway. Retzlaff, Connolly side by side. Connolly with the slight edge halfway down the back stretch. They roll into turn number 3. Parker keeps the hammer down, drops it low side of the racetrack. Austin Beers there in the tire tracks on the low side, but he sits 6th. Coming back to the line, Connolly with a nose out in front, contact with Brian McCann, and I think TJ Majors. Parker running back to the bottom of the racetrack, takes the lead over, clear of the 61. Connolly second, Brian McCann third, side by side with Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the 3rd spot. Jr. now cleanly into position number 3 and stuffs it through, takes the spot from Connolly, not quite clear, drifting up the racetrack, trying to force the 61 to lift. He didn't. Now Junior in the middle, a big bump from Garrett Johnson gives him a boost of momentum down the front stretch, but getting away is Parker Retzlaff. On board with Dale Jr. Crossed up off turn number 2. Keeps it straight, tucks in behind Parker Retzlaff. Junior goes to the top. Parker keeps it low. Still side by side for the lead. Dale Jr. to the top of the racetrack. Should have a run here off of 2. He might be his best opportunity here. There he goes. So Dale Jr. to the race lead here at Fontana. Meanwhile, the 19, Dylan Pettis in the fence. He'll shed a lot of positions here. Parker trying to challenge Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the lead yet again. Parker seems to be able to drive that thing anywhere on the racetrack, top, bottom, middle. It doesn't seem to matter, but now he's challenging the 8 again for the top spot. Drives it all the way down to the white line, maybe half the tire patch below it, but he takes the top spot. Clear of Dale Jr. Jr. puts a bunch of wheel into it, tries to cross him over. So Dale going back, trying to take it away. Almost some contact between the two down to turn number 1. Really screwed up the entry there for Parker. He loses some ground. Junior's cleared. It may have opened the door for Garrett Johnston, but no, Parker slams it shut. Parker back to the whip again. The battles here at this track have been incredible. For the lead, the top 15, the top 20, it doesn't seem to matter. So Retzlaff takes the lead back from Junior again. Top 3 all in frame. Retzlaff, Earnhardt Jr., Garrett Johnston coming into view. TJ Majors in 4th. James Connolly out of view in 5th. Ooh, big lift, big checkup for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Loses some ground on Retzlaff. Johnston stays tucked in. Well, we lost connection on somebody. I think we lost Retzlaff and Dale Jr. We'll see if they come back into frame here. TJ Majors shown as the leader at the moment. We lost Garrett Johnston too. TJ disappearing for a moment. Now we're losing Majors again. Very interesting. Doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason behind it either. So things have changed here at the front of the field. It's TJ Majors, James Connolly, Brandon Wilkinson. And now we lose TJ, and he's back again. So in the timing and scoring, it shows now, it's back and forth. TJ Majors, James Connolly, the top two. Seems that Connolly is hanging tough, and Garrett Johnston just reappears about 5 laps later. So Garrett Johnston shown now as the leader again. Dale Jr. and Parker Retzlaff shown in 31st and 32nd. I don't even believe that that's currently accurate. Shows them out of the race, and I just don't think that's the situation. We'll see if they come back in here. But right now, TJ Majors takes the lead back now from Garrett Johnston. He'll lead the field down the back straightaway with 60 laps on the board. Now TJ goes away. Man, this is very strange. And just for a brief moment, Dale Earnhardt Jr. popped back into the race lead, but just as quickly disappeared again. Going to have to deal with it, unfortunately. We'll watch the battle here for 5th. This is between Brandon Wilkinson and Zach Millett. Not a whole lot of aggression going on here. Zach seems content to run about that 5th or 6th position. Further back, Gavin Hinson, the number 39, runs behind John Cofield. John was very fast early on, a front runner for sure. Still running inside the top 10. So back out front, Dale Earnhardt Jr. now shown as the leader with TJ Majors, P2. Oh, Connolly into Johnston off the corner. Crossed him up, but not Johnston. Keeps his foot in it. Yeah, repeat in the chat says, hopefully it's just a replay thing. Ready to get back live. We appreciate you, Steve. No, I appreciate you guys. I don't even think it's just the replay because I've done a couple of replays as of late with other series and haven't run into this problem. It could be the source replay that's the problem. It could be the number of cars. I can't imagine that because I've got all that stuff turned off, so it shouldn't make any difference. Put 100 cars out here, it's still going to display it. So I don't know. We're just going to make the best of it. It's all we can do. And as you said, we're live next week. It should be for the balance of the season, barring any kind of travel for my work schedule. But we won't have to worry about it after that. So 63 laps on the board. We're just past halfway here at Fontana. We're going to step out and get a track limit side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. You won't miss a moment. We'll be right back.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Fontana, Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues to lead TJ Majors, Garrett Johnston, James Connolly, and Adam Benefield, the top five, but Parker Retzlaff just pops back in. We're still experiencing some technical difficulties, folks. For some reason, these cars keep disappearing from view, and the timing and scoring. Been a little difficult to keep track of what's actually happening. We're going to do our best. That's all we can do. Looks like we lost everybody for a brief moment there. I do find it interesting that it's typically the driver that's leading that we have disappearing from view. And every lap you see it on the timing and scoring, the gap keeps resetting. Drivers that are not actually out of the race are shown out of the race. Some are legitimately out of the race. Some are not. Jr. hanging on to second, but Retzlaff showing a 1.2 second advantage, at least when he is on the racetrack. So we got Retzlaff, Earnhardt Jr., and TJ Majors, the top three. Then it's Garrett Johnston and James Connolly back to fifth. Majors making a move on Dale Jr. for the second spot, but Dale's going to have the run down the back straightaway. Wasn't enough. Majors takes the spot. 3-wide battle behind him. Cofield, Benefiel, and Connolly with Zach Millett pushing up the gut. Tush push from Zach Millett on Adam Benefiel. Shoots Adam up a couple of spots. Nowhere really for Millett to follow him through. Cofield takes a look to the inside on Zach Millett. Has position. Millett midway up the racetrack. This is for about the 5th position. "73 laps complete here from Fontana. Been a dominant night here for Parker Retzlaff, even though we've had some connection issues or some type of technical difficulties. For whatever reason, they keep disappearing. He's been strong. Almost every time he pops back in, he's still in that race lead. And the last we saw, it was a 1 second plus advantage back to second place. Garrett Johnston slips up in front of Dale Jr. Evasive action by the 8. And in behind him, Benefiel swaying the car left to right, trying to hang on to it, or maybe trying to find a way around. It almost turns himself off the nose of Zach Millett. That was close. Oh, here we go. Cofield up the track, using up Millett. Millett's got some room to the right side as he follows in behind Connolly. Here comes the 06 of Wilkinson. Adam Benefiel reaping the rewards. Millett really shot him forward to get clear of that 3-wide challenge that he was fighting off a few laps ago, and now battling with Garrett Johnston for what appears to be the 2nd spot. Coming to 50 laps to go for what should be Parker Retzlaff, but right now it's TJ Majors. Brian McCann in a 3-way battle. He's in the middle with Austin Beers and Wilkinson, but Beers gets clear. Brian is going to have a run there around the outside, going to battle back and try to hang on to the position. This is for the 8th spot. Try and take a look at the pit strategy. That's going to change a bit too. Says Majors has been out there for 76 laps. That's just not the case. He came down twice to pit. So Retzlaff pops back into the picture. So there's definitely some issues there with data being sent to SDK from iRacing. Whatever the problem is, I can't figure it out. So we won't look at that again until next week. Millett, though, trying to go 3-wide with Cofield and Connolly on either side. Keeps it close enough to make those two honest, but the door closes shut. Now McCann will stick his nose to the inside. It's for about the 8th position. This battle, the backside of the top 10. A lot of drivers, a hornet's nest back here. And I believe we are under the yellow flag. Indeed we are. Jason Nilgis in trouble. So caution on the Speedway for the third time tonight. Again, disregard the stats there in the shrunken tower at the top. We are not on our 20th caution, I assure you. This is only our third. So the field will gather behind the iRacing pace car, set for another round of yellow flag pit stops. Parker Retzlaff will lead TJ Majors, Adam Benefield, Dale Jr., Garrett Johnston, and company down into pit lane here momentarily. The pit lane is open. Retzlaff real late to pit lane. Dale Jr. right side tires exchanged on the number 8 Chevrolet. Sunoco Race Fuel dumping in, 4-tire change for Dale Jr. Lights him up, John Force style, leaving the box. Appears Chris Wally still on pit lane. He rolls out. So now it's showing Chris Mefford as the race leader. I don't know if I buy it. It also shows he hasn't made a pit stop at all tonight, which, well, the math would tell you isn't possible. Repeat 1975 giving us the information on the caution. This is a couple got together off turn 4. Right in front of me, causing this one. I barely missed it, pulling to the right. Repeat, what's your car number so I can try and find you? It's easier with the car number, at least for me. Thanks, Pete. So that caution happening about in the 25th position in that general vicinity. That's at least where Pete Ruzick is running as we watch this replay. Ruzick able to avoid. Jason Nile just was involved. And a few others. Lights get extinguished on the iRacing pace cars. We're set for another restart here in Fontana. This time it'll be Chris Mefford and TJ Majors at the front of the field. Get this one back underway. Garrett Johnston, Adam Benefield, Parker Retzlaff, James Connolly, Brian McCann, Dale Jr., Austin Mears, Brandon Wilkinson, the top 10. jumps to the race lead into turn 1, but Chris Mefford not one to give up easily. Right there to the left rear of the 6 off of turn number 2. Adam Benefield creeping up the back bumper, the 46 as they roll down the back straightaway. 14 of Kyle Hardy, low side of the racetrack. Sorry, that's Kyle Pendergraph. Pendergraph will blend up with the leaders. Chris Mefford, like I said, not giving up easily. Gets the lead back from TJ. He'll lead him down into turn 1. Battle for second. Adam Benefield takes a peek to the inside of TJ Majors. No joy for the Zero machine. TJ says, forget third, I'm going back to the lead. Inside, Chris Mefford into turn 3. Little bit of contact. Garrett Johnston, Adam Benefield off of 4. We're still having those leaders disappear. That's strange. Chris Mefford and TJ Majors continue to throw haymakers at each other, but TJ's going to retake the race lead here off of 4. But a crossover coming, a block by TJ, and he disappears at the same time. Oh, contact with the 46 and the 6. They get away with it. Chris Mefford, he ain't scared. Top 5, Mefford, Majors, Benefield, Retzlaff, Johnston. Retzlaff steps on a line here on Benefield, looking for third. This battle for the top spot continues, and it just seems whoever's leading vanishes from view. I just don't understand it. I just hope that wasn't the case when it was live. It'd be very challenging for these drivers, as Majors and Mefford were just inches apart on entry to turn number 3, and they continue to fight for the top spot. Ooh, a little bit of contact. These two are not leaving it out on the table here. They're just going after each other. Contact, door slamming. You'd think we got 5 to go, but we've got plenty to go. But now Mefford may lose this second spot to Adam Benefield. Benefield and Retzlaff now side by side. Chris Mefford has fallen back to 4th now with Johnston in 5th. Through all this battling, these top 5 drivers are still getting some separation from the rest of the pack. Action picking up here just outside or just to the bottom half of the top 10. Austin Beers, Dylan Pettis side by side. Pettis in the 19, Beers in the green and white, number 64. Beers now working the top side with Dale Jr. to the bottom. Jr. will slot through, take the spots, and move Jr. up to the 8th spot. Now in contact with Mefford. Straightens it back out, and he saves it. What a save by the 46 of Chris Mefford. Wow. And now we got a big-time gaggle of cars. 4 wide off turn number 4. 5 wide coming down to the line. Little bit of contact there coming to the stripe, and they all get away with it. Will they continue this craziness? Still 3 wide. You'd think there was money to be paid at lap 92. I don't know if Mefford just didn't take tires in the last stop because I don't have pit stop data for him. But it certainly looks like he's struggling with the handle and not a lot of rear grip in that number 46. Big shakeup behind, and the 56 is in the wall. We've got trouble. Brent Butler still trying to gather it up at start-finish, but the caution is out. Now remember, there was 4 sets of tires over the wall to start this race. You got less than 35 laps to go. It'll be even less, of course, once we go back to green flag racing. Does anybody chance it and pit now? Even the pace car is disappearing. So the field rolling down pit lane, which what could be their final stop of the night. It's going to be the question as to who decides to take that final set of tires. It seems you're not going to be able to keep pace without it if other guys do. But no, it's going to be fuel only for at least Parker Retzlaff, and he'll race off of pit lane and win the battle. I think that was TJ Majors he beat out of pit lane. Still having major problems here with these cars. Repeat 1975 says, watching this has my heart racing all over again. Is it because of the cars blinking in and out, or because you know something that I don't? going to take the 1 to go here. Kyle Hardy in the 35 will be your race leader. Casey Bentz will restart to his outside. Row 2, it's Retzlaff and Majors. 4, Benefiel and Dale Jr. And it's Wilkinson, Pettis, Johnston, Cofield, the top 10. Half a lap away from going back under the green flag. Pete Ruzick in the chat says, from the back, this race was phenomenal. It's a great group of drivers this season. I mean, it's evident. We've gotten a good portion of this race in with just a handful of cautions. Not even, we're only at, I think, 4. It's our 4th yellow of the night. Not the 27th, as the overlay would suggest. So the pace car rolls to pit lane. We're ready for the restart again. Hardy and Bentz on the front row. There it is. Green flag back in the air. Hardy will carry the lead down into turn 1, but Retzlaff quickly to the 2nd spot. Majors 3rd, Bentz 4th, Wilkinson 5th. And they're on to turn number 2. Oh, big time contact. They straighten it back out. I think it was Chuck Sweeting, Austin Beers maybe coming together. Back to the line, Retzlaff reclaims the top spot while Johnston and Majors battle for 2nd. Brian McCann in the 3 car, back in the 10th position. Just gives you an idea of the level of competition that has increased in this league this season. McCann very familiar with being one of those top 2 or 3 drivers, really having to work hard to stay up here in the top 10 or even top 5. He's got the skills, but he's got to be 10/10ths every lap now. Mefford now gets to the bottom on the 3. Big time run for Chris Mefford, and they're 3 wide off turn 4. Retzlaff and Johnston side by side for the race lead. Ruzick in the chat, elbows are out. Yeah, we've been seeing that the last 50 laps. Oh, almost closed up the 19. Dylan Pettis almost ran out of room. Oh, trouble. Austin Beers in the wall. Straightens it out. I don't know if he caught the fence or not, but we stay green. Oh, not anymore. Wally up the racetrack, and we got a wreck here on the front stretch. Wally going to go through the grass. Well, here we go. 5th caution of the afternoon with 27 laps to go. Looks like that was Chris Goins, Chris Wally, William Tyndall, Pete Ruzick, Kyle Pendergraph. Just a handful of the drivers wrapped up in that one. So our current top 4 on that last pit stop, it appears it was fuel only for the majority of those drivers. So that means they still have a set over the wall here. And again, we're running out of laps. It's going to be like 26 to go this next time by. Ruzik says in the chat here, that was my fault. I checked up and pulled left collecting Wally. That's the trouble, though. This track is so wide. You can run 4 or 5. You could probably even go 6 abreast if you were crazy enough to try it. But you got to make any kind of evasive action. It's tough unless you have a legitimate spotter up in the tower telling you that, hey, you're 5 wide. I don't think iRacing tells you anything other than if you're just 3 wide. Tells you top, middle, or bottom, and that's about it. Kind of reminds me of Larson pulling down off the top of the racetrack. I think it was in Atlanta into SVG and kind of taking himself out. Oh, some tricks on pit lane. Retzlaff will come down. So will Parker take his final set, and can he work his way through the traffic if he does so? They've made their bet at this point. I'd say about half the drivers in contention here have opted to come down and pit. Right side tires going on the Retzlaff machine. Chris Wally will roll in behind. 4 tires and fuel for Parker Retzlaff. 15:33 the stop for Parker. 4 tires and fuel for Chris Wally. And they're waiting, and they're waiting. Again, some repairs to be done on the 51. He cuts the car off. So now we're down to 25 laps to go. On the 1 to go here at Fontana. It'll be Garrett Johnston and TJ Majors, it appears, out in front as we're losing everybody all over again. If you're just joining us, had some technical difficulties here tonight with cars disappearing from view throughout the course of this race. Once we got that first caution out of the way, things kind of went a little haywire. And you see even the pace cars not staying rendered for whatever reason. We're not sure if it's due to the replay or a previous connection issue. Either way, we're going to be live here next week. Chicagoland Speedway, Track Limits Network. Fingers crossed, we shouldn't have any of these problems. Johnston, Majors on the front row as we're ready for the restart. Johnston leads him down the back straightaway. Majors second. Junior up into the 3rd spot. Adam Benefield, Christian Strader, the top 5. Johnston with a sizable lead now, half a second back to TJ. '29 is straighter, high, wide, and handsome, top of the racetrack in the number 29. Man, it's got to be a Reese's scheme on there somewhere. I swear, it looks just like the old Kevin Harvick car. Straighter runs fourth. Now Chris Mefford has been a challenger here late at Fontana, makes the move on TJ Majors and takes the position away. So move Mefford up to the second spot as Johnston continues to stretch his lead away. 0.8 of a second plus back to the 46. Cofield and Benefield side by side for the 6th position. Parker Retzlaff, meanwhile, in the 10th spot with fresh rubber underneath. 21 laps to go. I think he's got time, but can he knife his way through this traffic? Lean it on Cofield off turn 4. They're 3 wide again. Oh, trouble. 96 car is around. Big time wreck here at the end of pit lane. Devin Aker in trouble. Casey Bent's involved in this one as well, and this might be night over for the 96. Indeed it is. He'll tow to the garage. So Johnston's big lead evaporates with the caution coming out here. Tire smoke still billowing up into the stands here at the exit of pit lane. Matt Mormon in the chat. 06 to the NASCAR hauler post race. 06 will be Brandon Wilkinson. Now, you put a skull logo on the hood of that race car, and I think that's a Rick Mast machine. I know we're in the IROC series, and all these paint schemes are generally all the same, but you look at them, and you're like, you know, that color combination matches up to this car. You said it about Christian Strader and his Kevin Harvick look-alike. This one, I guess you could say, is an old Rick Mast paint scheme. Similar, at least. Of course, Austin Beer's out there. Color scheme similar to his modified. And Neil Quick. No one can forget this. Even the numbers right on this one. The old Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace scheme. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. on pit lane. Maybe Junior's got a set of tires laying. Uh-oh. Right side's in the air. A little bit extra fuel going in, maybe for weight. We lose connection there on Junior. And there he goes. Yeah, repeat 1975. That's an excellent point. I've been saying that all season. This looks just like Dale Jr.'s Busch Grand National AC Delco scheme from back in the day. Spitting image. Laps winding down here in Fontana. Pace car light still on. Should get the one to go this time by. Let's take another opportunity while we have it to thank the sponsors that jumped on board this season. Fast Laps, Open Hearts, Coles County Speedway, R&R Racewear, Meff's Shirt Shop, Johnston Timbers LLC, 3 Wide with DJG, Charity Motorsports, and of course Care for Kids. Pace car lights are out, so we are on the one to go. We'll get the restart at lap 109. Should be about 17 to go when we get back underway. Front row in about half a lap. We'll be back racing. It's going to be Garrett Johnston, Christian Strader. I think Strader officially has the race lead, unless Johnston opted for the outside. Row 2, it's Retzlaff and Kyle White. Row 3, Dylan Pettis, Timmy Schofield. Row 4, Zach Millett, Brian McCann. Row 5, it'll be Austin Beers and Neil Quick into the top 10. Great launch for Garrett Johnston. Gets away just enough, but still a tenth and a half to the back bumper. Parker Retzlaff on fresh rubber, making a move to the inside. Not quite yet, but give it a lap or two. I think he'll have it. Field cleanly off turn number 2. Johnston still with the lead. Retzlaff in tow. Now the 13 of Kyle White. Looking up the back bumper of the 199. .15 laps to go. Garrett Johnston really coming on strong here in the later stages. Can he hold off Parker Retzlaff? Parker sticks the nose to the bottom of the racetrack. Not quite enough yet, or is it? Oh, contact. The 12 goes around Schofield and others. Another big wreck here on the back straightaway. Christian Strader caught out in it as well. Kyle White gets a big chunk of it. He is down to the runoff on the back straightaway. Strader and Schofield driving away. The caution out yet again. Johnston has managed to hold on to that race lead through these restarts. Retzlaff just can't get it going here. These real short runs not really working out for the number 199. Might just need to get a little bit longer run in, get some more heat into the tires, build those air pressures. Johnston certainly no slouch, but it's going to be a tall order to hold off Parker here. Make note again here next week, the Windy City 225 from Chicagoland Speedway, race 6 of the IROC Challenge Series. We'll finally be back live here on Track Limits Network. Then on to Iowa, Darlington, and then Michigan and Charlotte to round out April. Going back to the schedule, I want to make a note. Some of the earlier races, you may have seen the schedule where it showed the Daytona Road Course on May 26th. There was a schedule change in that department, so now it's become the Sin City 202 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway instead. That was voted on by the drivers in the series. They opted to go with that instead of running the road course, which makes me frown, but we'll live. Repeat 1975. That's Pete Ruzick in the chat for those that don't know, but he says, great job by the leader to keep the 199 pinched low so he can't get back in the gas when he needs to. We saw guys trying that earlier on, and it seemed that Parker was able to just kind of keep the hammer down anyway. It didn't seem to hurt him, but for whatever reason, maybe the track has changed, it's rubbered in, temperatures have gone up or down, but yeah, Johnston doing a good job pinching him down and keep him from getting that pass completed. Still don't know. We'll see if Garrett can hold him off here. We get the restart at lap 114. We got Zach Millett in the chat. Millett, of course, the driver of the number 31 in this race. He's shown 5th in the timing and scoring. No laps led for the 31 at this point. Will he get out in front? Could he still win this? Front row will be Retzlaff and Johnston. Johnston with the race lead. He opts for the outside lane. Austin Beers, Brian McCann, Zach Millett, Dale Jr., Chris Wally, Neil Quick, Chris Mefford, TJ Majors, the top 10. Could this be our final restart? Or have we not seen the last of the yellow flags? Green flag is out, 11 laps to go. Johnston gets away, the battle is on for second. Austin Beers around the outside of Parker Retzlaff. Retzlaff loses the spot, will settle in third, takes a peek back to the inside on the 64, but no joy. Now Austin Beers taking a look on the 15 for the race lead. Not enough of a run, bit of a wiggle off turn 4. Chases it up the racetrack, will settle back in behind Garrett Johnston. 10 laps remain from Fontana. Austin Beers going to need to find a way around without giving up too much to the 199 of Parker Retzlaff. Parker's right there, about 3 foot off the back bumper. Slides to the inside, takes a look, settles back in behind. Top 4 drivers single file, but Zach Millett in a battle with Dale Earnhardt Jr. They're set side by side through turns 3 and 4. Jr. on the bottom. Millett hammering down on corner exit. Jr. washing up the racetrack. Coming down to the line. Millett with the position for now in a battle for the lead. Austin Beers goes to the point with a big push from Parker Retzlaff. He had his hands full down into turn number 1, but not enough to clear Johnston. Off the throttle, Beers has to check up. He's probably going to lose second out of this as well. Down the back straightaway, Johnston continues to lead. Now Parker Retzlaff back on the attack, and look who's worked his way up into the top 3. It's none other than the 3 of Brian McCann. McCann around the outside of Austin Beers with Zach Millett to the back bumper. Behind them, it's Dale Earnhardt Jr., Adam Benefiel, Dylan Pettis, Majors, and Turzak into the top 10. Three wide, Beers on the bottom. Benefiel up the track, gets into the left rear. Zach Millett. Millett has to check up and save it. He'll lose some track position. Millett now 5th position, Beers 6th, the Majors 7th, and a battle for the lead again into turn number 3. Retzlaff to the bottom of the racetrack, side by side with Garrett Johnston. Might have him this time. On the throttle, up the racetrack. Does he get clear? And he does. Retzlaff to the lead, coming to 7 laps to go. We've seen how difficult it's been for Parker to get past throughout the course of this race. Whenever he's out in front with clean air, he is dangerous. Can Johnston regroup and put the attack on the 99? Remember, he made a pit stop here, took that last set of tires late as Chris Mefford's in trouble. Gonna be a big hit for the 46, hammers the inside safer barrier. Tyndall back up the racetrack, and we are under caution again late here in Fontana. Don't worry, folks. They got lights here. If they got to come on, they'll come on. So now the question for Parker Retzlaff is going to be top or bottom on the restart. We saw Garrett Johnston opted for the top side the last couple of restarts, and it really paid dividends for him. If you're Parker, I can't imagine you're going to give him the top this time. We'll see if the 199 changes his mind here, decides to opt to restart on the top lane. Tough break for Chris Mefford, though. He had a good run going. No takers on pit road. I think everybody's made their bed. Well, I say that, and Neil Quick appears like he's coming down for service. Does he have a set of tires left, or is he getting some damage repaired? He's deep enough in the field that it's not a bad call. Christian Strader still tore up a little bit. He's going to come down. Kyle Hardy, Schofield, Mike Koch, Chuck Sweeting. Yep, just damage repair for Neil Quick. It's like the same story for Christian Strader. Field off at turn 4 behind the iRacing pace car, expecting those yellow lights to turn off as they cross start finish, indicating the 1 to go. And it looks like this is going to set us up for a 4-lap shootout to settle it. And Parker Retzlaff, who was outside the top 10 just a few cautions ago, in position to pick up a win, utilizing those fresh tires. They've lasted quite a bit longer than probably expected with all these additional cautions. But ironically enough, he's given Garrett Johnston the top, which is where Garrett has chosen to restart the last couple of times as the leader. Now, the difference is, of course, Parker has the option here. He gets to fire off first, and Garrett does not. So the outside may not be as beneficial as it once was for the 15. We'll see how it plays out here. Half a lap away from green. Those of you just joining us, no, we have not had 38 cautions here tonight. I promise you, it's a glitch in the system. We'll work it out. Pace car is in. Coming down for the restart. It'll be 3 laps to go at the line. Oh, trouble. 2 cars down the bottom of the racetrack. Not sure who that was. Chris Wally and Kyle White, perhaps? Yes, Kyle White sits stationary in the grass. He will tow to pit lane. Chris Wally got going again, but back to the front. The battle is on for the race lead. Garrett Johnston up top in the green machine. Parker Retzlaff on the bottom into turns 3 and 4, side by side for the lead. Retzlaff clears Johnston, but a crossover is the 15, but not able to get underneath. Benefield goes for a ride through the grass. We stay green with 2 to go. He's still dirt tracking it through the grass. Battle for second now. This will help Retzlaff as the 19 of Dylan Pettis rolls up to compete with the 15. Dale Jr. runs fourth. Majors in the 5th position. Then it's Millett, Brian McCann, Austin Beers, William Tyndall, Kyle Turzak, the top 10 with a little more than a lap to go. Parker Retzlaff, 3/10 the advantage off turn 4, looking for the white flag, coming down to the starter stand. Barney's gonna pull it out of the sheath. Nope, I guess not. Something's going weird here. Dylan Pettis looks to the bottom here on Garrett Johnston. Again, love to see those guys side by side. That's what Parker Retzlaff's thinking. Keep fighting, boys. Let me get away. Retzlaff, half a lap away from victory down the backstretch. A dominant performance here tonight. Wasn't quite quick enough for the pole. Missed it by 18 thousandths of a second, but quickly took over the top spot on the opening lap. He's led the most laps here tonight, and he's driving away, looking for a victory here in Fontana. Off turn number 4. Parker Retzlaff's gonna win it. Dylan Pettis just barely squeaks by for second. TJ Majors will take the 3rd spot. Garrett Johnston ends up 4th, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. will come home in P5. Parker led 59 of the 125 laps here tonight. Almost half. Certainly more than anybody else. Retzlaff not going to burn it down. He's just going to pull it into pit lane and call it a night. A well-earned victory by the driver of the 199. Yes, there's a 1 there, just at the bottom tail of that 99. And that'll do it here from Fontana. Let's take a look at our official race results. Winner tonight, the 199, Parker Retzlaff takes the victory. Dylan Pettis just barely squeaks by, takes the second spot. TJ Majors comes home in third. Garrett Johnston was fourth. Dale Earnhardt Jr. brought it home into the fifth position. Zach Millett, no laps led tonight, but drove it up to P6. Austin Beers was seventh. William Tyndall finishes in the eighth spot. Steve Durbin was ninth. Brian McCann comes home in 10th. 11th spot was short track ace Kyle Turzak. Brent Butler was 12th. Brandon Wilkinson was 13th. Neil Quick drove it up to 14th. Brother Chris was 15th. Christian Strader finishes in his 16th spot. Mike Koch was 17th. 18th went to Doug Wysocki. Adam Benefield from Team Conti was 19th after a late race off-road excursion through the grass. Kyle Hardy was 20th. Jonathan Cofield very fast early on. He'll finish 21st. 22nd, Chuck Sweeting. Tim Schofield was 23rd. Chris Wally, 24th. Repeat 1975, Pete Ruzick was 25th. Kyle White was 26th. Chris Mefford, 27th. Jason Nilgis finishes 28th. 29th, Josh Mears. Devin Aker was 30th. Casey Benz, 31st. Kyle Pendergraft was 32nd. Chris Goins, 33rd. James Connolly, 34th. Gavin Hinson was 35th. Shane Haas, 36th. 37th finisher was Andrew Williams. Adam Pettit was 38th. Matt Mormond, 39th. And last but not least, the 16 of Marty Lindley comes home in the 40th position. The other drivers, 41st through 45, didn't make the field here tonight, so they're shown 125 laps down. They attempted to qualify and just did not make the show. Well, that'll do it for us here at Fontana Auto Club Speedway, the Fontana 250. Thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. I know it was a difficult one to watch with the technical difficulties, but at least we didn't have any frame drops. Just a lot of cars disappearing and some timing and scoring issues. All the fun stuff. Should all go away next week. We'll see you guys at Chicagoland Speedway next Tuesday, not Wednesday, because we're going to be live, folks. Tune in here. Be here by about 8:45 in the East at the latest. That way you don't miss anything right here at Track Limits Network. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, follow, share, subscribe. You know the routine. We'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.